begin with breaking news from France, where in the last minute the minority government has collapsed after the Prime Minister Francois Bayrou lost a confidence vote in Parliament. The result was expected as he sought to plug a black hole worth tens of billions of euros in France's budget. Mr. Bayrou is now forced to step down after just 9 months in office. Straight to our correspondent, Lisa Louis, who joins us from the French National Assembly. Welcome, Lisa. So he's gone.
Absolutely. It's official now. 364 parliamentarians voted against Francois Bayrou and only 194 in favour of him. A very clear result, that is. And that means that Francois Bayrou will have to quit his job. He's understood to, hand in his resignation tomorrow during the day. And after that, French President Emmanuel Macron will have to find a new Prime Minister.
Is that going to be easy?
It's going to be really difficult, Emmanuel Macron will have to walk a very fine line. As we know, after the snap parliamentary elections last year, none of the political groups has a clear majority in Parliament. There are 3 blocs. For now, we had prime ministers from the central bloc, the centrist bloc, the government's coalition, President Macron's party, and he's likely to go along the same route again. However, it's going to be even more complicated because he will have to find a prime minister either, from centre-left party, the Socialist Party, that will be supported by the Republicans. They've said they don't want that. On the other hand, the Socialists don't want a Republican, a centre-right Prime Minister. But in the end, at the end of the day, they all have to come together and agree on something for that budget. France is in dire straits. Actually, Francois Bayrou wanted to bring down, the deficit and wanted to save 44 billion euros next year, and that plan really brought him down instead.
OK, so the president absolutely has to get a new prime minister because he has to get the budget passed.
Well, that's correct. He needs to get somehow the budget on track. Mind you, it's incredibly difficult also because, the French are everything but happy. There's a sense of despair in the air. There are strike days coming up. This Wednesday, for example, you've got one nationwide protest day started by some kind of grassroots movement that's called Let's Block Everything. It's unclear how much turnout there will be this Wednesday, but there's another strike day coming up next week on the 18th of September, called for by all national unions. All the 8 came together and said, we want to block the country. They're calling for strikes, they're calling for demonstrations. The president is watching that very closely, and he's understood to want to find a prime minister before that date on the 18th of September. There are also other deadlines looming. The country needs a budget for the next year, and actually, according to the rules, the new budget has to be put in, handed into Parliament, presented to Parliament early October. So really, time is of the essence, and we have seen in the past that President Emmanuel Macron likes to take his time when he's looking for a new prime minister. Looks like he doesn't have that time now.
Surprised he needs to take his time. He's had enough practice at picking them. Remind us how France got to this point, Lisa.
Well, actually, it all started last year with snap parliamentary elections that Emmanuel Macron called after the European elections, where the far-right National Rally had a really good score. He thought, I'm going to surprise everybody. But what seemed to him like a stroke of genius really backfired. His bloc lost even more seats beforehand. He didn't have a clear majority. Now you've got 3 blocs in Parliament. He then named a first Prime Minister in the autumn who only lasted for 3 months. And then since December, we had Francois Bayrou, who kind of sailed through the stormy sides, kind of managed to talk to various sides, various political parties, seemed to be able to survive until now. And then he called this vote of confidence. There's a clear difference in pegging the budget to a vote of confidence. That would have meant that the parties just didn't have to vote against him. But what the Prime Minister did was actually he went one step further. He said, you need to say, I trust you, for me to survive and then be able to present a budget. And that clearly was too much to ask, especially from the Socialist Party, who up until now was just, supporting him silently but not openly. That was one step too far, and that's how we got to this day, to the day where France again has no prime minister, no government again, which throws the country into turmoil, but also obviously Europe, because France is the second biggest economy in Europe. It's really needed for the EU to move forward, to stand together, and also to stand together in the face of international conflicts such as in Ukraine.
Thank you for talking us through that, Lisa Louis at the National Assembly in Paris.